Hey, welcome to How To Videos Limited. Today I'm doing another video where I respond to a subscriber's comments. In this case, I'm responding to Nazir Al-Qadi's question. He wanted to know, how did I get into the car business? Do I like the car business? And do I own a dealership? So to answer your question, how did I get into the car business? To be honest with you, it's a weird fact. I was selling stuff on eBay. So back when jeans were popular, like the Diesel jeans and True Religion jeans and Seven for All Mankind jeans, I used to own a ton of them. I don't know, 12, 15 pairs. I used to, wear them for a couple of years. And then when they became no longer popular, I just didn't want to get rid of them. And I donate them to Goodwill because I'm like, man, I spent 120 bucks, or 100 bucks or, 150 bucks on all these different jeans. And I had, like I said, 15 pairs of them. And somebody had said, why not sell them on eBay? And I'm like, who's going to buy used jeans? I've wore these for 2-3 years. They've sat in my closet for 2-3 years. These are like 6-7-year-old jeans that have just been sitting around for a while. They're still in great shape. I always kept all my clothes in good shape. I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I listed, and sure enough, they sold, 50 bucks, 40 bucks, 60 bucks. And I'm like, holy moly, this is crazy. I can't believe that somebody would buy used jeans that I wore for 3-4 years, and they sat in my closet for 3 years. And I got almost half of what I paid for it 6-7 years later. This is crazy. We continued to do that when we had our kids, and our kids outgrew their baby, their baby high chair or their different baby clothes. Some of the different baby toys are expensive products that you need for babies. Once our kids outgrew those, and I said, hey, that was expensive. We spent a lot of money on that. Still in great shape, still clean. I would hate to just give it away, or let's try selling it. So we started selling some of those items as well. And, oddly enough, those were selling it too. And so I said, I'm spending a lot of time selling these. You got to take the pictures, you got to upload it, you got to provide the description on eBay. And sometimes on some of those baby products, you would spend all this time, effort doing that, responding to people's questions on eBay or OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, and then you sell the item for 10 bucks on some of the smaller things, 12 bucks, and you don't want them to come to your house because you're like, I don't want this stranger coming to my house. So you would meet them at a local grocery store or at a local shopping center, and you're spending time driving over there, and then sometimes they flake on you, and you're doing all that for 10-15 bucks on some of those smaller baby items. So I said, but things are selling, making money. What can I do on a bigger scale besides real estate? Obviously real estate would be, selling houses, especially out in California. Right now, houses are going for $1 million, 950,000, 900,000. You can't really find anything less than 700,000-800,000 for a house. So imagine 2-3% commission, but that's just not my forte. It's not as easy as people think. So I said, what else can we sell on a bigger scale that's, people can afford? Used cars. So how do you sell used cars legally? So I always want to do everything legally. Yeah, people are out there with, they call it curb stoners, where they're selling cars illegally, which means that they're selling cars without a car dealer's license that they obtained through the DMV Occupational Licensing Office. I never want to do anything illegal because it's not worth it. For a few $1,000s, you might get hit with some fines. If you keep doing it, then you could potentially be, punished, fined even bigger, or possibly hit some jail time. So not worth it. Don't do it. If you are out there doing it, be careful. I would recommend going and spending some time, spending some money, and getting that car dealer's license so you can sell cars legally. So I went through the steps to get the car dealer's license. It's not an easy process. You have to take a 6-hour course. Then you got to take a 40-question test. You got to do a fingerprint clearance background check. And if you want to get your retail license, you got to go out and find a location with at least 2 parking spots. Then you got to open up a business, unless you're going to be operating under your name. But most people will open up a business name. So they're either going to get a DBA, the county, or they're going to open up a LLC, a C Corp, S Corp, whatever they decide to do. From there, then you open up your bank account. You got to get checks in your business name. Then you got to fill out a bunch of forms. You got to get a $50,000 bond, or a $10,000 bond if you're just getting your wholesale license. So there's a lot of steps that you need to do. But if you can manage it and get through all those steps, then you will obtain that car dealer's license to sell cars legally. So that is, it's a lengthy process, but it definitely can be done. If it was easy, then everybody would be doing it. So since it's not that easy, not everybody's doing it. So that actually opens up more opportunities for you guys to go out there and buy those cars and sell them for a profit. So once I got that, so to answer your question, yes, I got the retail license. Do have a small office. You need at least 2 parking spots. So that was a little difficult feat, especially trying to find a business location that would actually allow a used car dealership in there. Most of the times they don't want it, just because you have to have a minimum of 2 parking spots. If you start expanding and you want 3 or 4 or 5 or or 6 or 7 parking spots, you're tying up parking spots from other businesses, because typically those locations usually have a bunch of other businesses where they're renting out office spaces to as well. And those people have clients that come in for whatever it's, tax preparation or whatever educational courses or whatever business, photography business or notary business and all that. So a lot of those office locations do not want to tie up, issue a couple spots or multiple spots. So it did take a while. Right now rent's up too. So that's a fee. So if you wanted to start out with just your wholesale license and you have a garage at home, you could operate out of there. Or if you have like an office, like a first floor, a bedroom that you can use as an office, sometimes the DMV occupational license will approve that as well for your wholesale license. The downside to the wholesale license is that you cannot sell legally retail to the public. You would actually have to work with a dealership that actually has a retail license that would sell it on your behalf, like on a consignment deal, or you can go back and try to resell it at the auctions or public auctions. So it's a little bit more difficult to make some profit, just because you have to get the cars at a really discounted rate. And so that's why I've done other videos where I say the best way to get vehicles is to do it through private parties, somebody selling cars on Facebook Marketplace, or offer up a private party that just wants to get rid of the vehicle. Maybe they need a down payment for a nicer car, and you're the first person to reach out to them, and you got cash, you're ready to go. You send throw out a lowball offer. Sometimes they will accept it, and that's how you get those good deals. But it's trial and error. You're gonna strike out quite a bit before you actually get a single or a double or a triple. So that's my in a nutshell why I started. It was, like I said, I was flipping, selling my old jeans, expensive jeans that I was no longer wearing because they were out of style. But even though I didn't like them and I thought they were out of style, hey, somewhere in the United States, somebody else in Idaho or Washington or New York or somewhere else thought they were in style, and maybe they were popular in whatever state that they lived in, but they bought them, like I said, buying them for almost half what I paid 7-8 years later. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And that's the reason why I got a dealer business. But eventually, to answer your question, I'm sure you're kind of alluding to, is this the right thing for you? So just remember, this is not an easy game. It's not as passive as you think it is. It's a lot of work involved, a lot of leads. You got to send out a lot of lowball offers. You got to deal with a lot of flaky clients that say, hey, I want to do a test drive. They give you a date and a time that they want to show up. You take time out of your day to go and wait for them, and then they don't show up. And then you reach out to them, they ghost you, they don't answer your call. Then they call you the next day or 3 days later and say, hey, is the car still available? I want to come test drive it. And you say, all right, yeah, I still haven't sold it yet. Come on by. They tell you they're coming at 2 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock rolls around. You don't hear from them. You reach out to them. You don't hear from them until 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And then they say, oh, I just got off work and now can I come meet you? And you're already like, no, I'm having dinner with my family. And so you have a lot of those types of situations. I'm looking at more passive things. So eventually my main goal would be to start eventually buying some rental properties. Obviously California house prices or, duplexes or triplexes are very expensive. My ideal situation would be to, get some out-of-state rental properties in, Indianapolis or, Texas or Arizona, something like that, something more passive where you get your rent every month, not having to constantly chase new deals every day for these cars. But, if it's something you're looking at, you're very passionate about the cars, there is money to be made. Just know that it's not as passive as you think. It is like, buying yourself a job, because it is a work that you need to put into it to be successful. So hopefully that answered your question. Make sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe. To the next video. Take care.